Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. We are live. It's an off week, so we want to look at what happened this weekend. AJ here with my guy, Mike Finch. What's happening, bro?
Oh, man, we're good over here in Huntington Beach, brother. Yeah, some fun fist fights, man. I mean, Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill beat the shit out of each other for our entertainment, and it was a damn fun fight, dude. The Brazil crowd's got to hype them up, man. I mean, the Brazil crowd just goes crazy. AJ, did you see how much shit was being flung at Brandon Moreno when he was trying to leave that cage?
That was hilarious, man.
Brazil crowd don't give a fuck.
Yeah, there. But then the sad thing is, though, half of them left, more than half left right when Glover retired. They were gone. The crowd was empty at the end of the night. I was disappointed they didn't stick around for Glover's interview because he kind of, I don't know, he retired to like an empty arena. I heard a lot of complaints about the crowd besides them, you know, booing and shit like that, which I think's fine. My issue was more, they didn't seem like they were all that happy for their hero Glover to go 5 rounds, and they left. They booked out, man. I'm like looking at the stands, it's dead. The early fights, no one's there. Brazil didn't, I don't know. Brazil, when I was younger, I always felt like that crowd was so passionate. Now it's like they seem half interested. I think it could be, though. Prices of tickets are probably high for what they can afford over there. And then you just have, you know, turmoil in the culture. Maybe people ain't fucking too happy right now. I know like the presidential election shit, they're saying like it's rigged or something like that. I don't know the exact details, but
go on Patricio Pitbull's Instagram and you'll learn all about it. I try to tag Patricio Pitbull now, and Instagram's like, are you sure you want to tag this person who is, you know, denying the election? I don't know what it says exactly. You know, but it's some weird shit where I'm like, yeah, I still want to tag Patricio Pitbull. What the fuck, Instagram? You know, they got some funky shit going on. Yes, they're having their own election turmoil, and they're questioning the results of Bolsonaro's defeat. And I'm sure that plays a role, but Brazilian fans have just always been just, you know, through the roof, super nationalists. Like they love rooting for their guys. And yeah, I hear you, man. You would like to see like a beautiful exit for Glover. And I think in general, I think it was, dude. I think he showed a lot of heart.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, just how could you have any more respect for Glover Teixeira? What a class act of a person. Yeah. I think he said it best, man. He's too tough for his own good.
Dude, he's so fucking tough. Jamal Hill hit him with everything. Glover's still coming forward. At 43, Glover Teixeira did enough. And when he retired after, that was my round of applause, because I said, you know what? That's a guy that says, if I'm not competing for gold, Daniel Cormier, same mindset, I don't need to be fighting. Whereas the sad coin flip, right? The other side of that coin is looking at Shogun Rua, who was once the great, the fucking man in pride, even in the UFC. And then to see him fight a guy in Polteria and go down the way he did, it was sad, man. You know what I noticed with Glover? His balance looked off. Did you see that? When Polteria kind of shoved him, it's like Glover had a hard time getting his feet under him. He still got the hands. He still got the power. He landed a nice hook that, you know, Polteria was like, oh shit, this old dude still got a little heat. But then when punches were landing, yeah, he just looked gone. It was sad for me to see how Shogun went out. And like, I think the saddest thing in the fight game, and Mike, you know, you've experienced it, the fighters you grow up with, seeing them fall to guys that would not be able to be in the same conversation as them 5-10 years ago.
That Shogun fight's an extreme example of that, right? Because, you know, Poteria, I always think there's another I. Potieria, I think is what I previously saw. Potieria. And then I'm looking at our show, and you had it Poteria. So I'm like, is AJ right? Is it? Either way, that kid, Ihor, is just can't hold a candle, you know, to what Prime Shogun looked like. And even that night, you know, he was letting his hands go a little bit, but nothing that blew my socks off, man. I don't think that kid will ever even earn a title shot in the UFC, at least where his skills are at. I don't know if he gets better. He's young, 26. Maybe. I don't know.
25, younger than me,
bro. 25.
I think he's 25.
Crazy.
Dude.
That's crazy to me, man.
He's young. He's blessed to get that huge moment, beat Glover Teixeira, but it's hard for me to see. Like, you look at it, how it all lines up. It's just how the game goes. The once greats are beaten by the young guys on the come up. And yeah, Shogun is the extreme example, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Because just because again, you had the 25-year-old kid in there with him.
Yeah.
That's insane. Jamal Hill, much more skilled. Getting back to what you said about Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
Glover Teixeira being wobbly. I remember he got hit with a head kick and he wobbled hard, but I
Yeah.
didn't notice that overall he was off balance. What I did notice was that he had a lot of blood going into his eyes, and that was a big
bad.
problem for him in the fight. And I said it before we went on air. AJ and I had just filmed something for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships earlier today. I changed my shirt. So did you.
Yeah, so did I, dude. So did I. Yeah.
Just so that people can't catch on.
Yeah.
And when we were filming that, before we were filming that, we talked about how Glover Teixeira really messed up Mount. I mean, when you're a high-level jiu-jitsu competitor, somebody who's competed in ADCC, right? That's what Glover's done. You would expect that this person would have a lot of control with their legs and mount. When Glover Teixeira finally got that takedown on Jamal Hill, I'm like, oh shit, now what's going to happen? Glover buzzsaws to mount. Oh shit, here's this head and arm choke, right? And then he gets bucked off a mount and Jamal Hill escapes through the back door. You would think that a high-level black belt would be able to hang on better. So I wonder how much was the blood affecting him? How much was the damage affecting him? And why did he let that opportunity go? Because it didn't seem to me like Glover was using his legs in mount, AJ. There's an awesome video out there somewhere on YouTube where Khabib is talking about how to hold someone in mount. He said, you ride like horse. You ride like horse. So he's saying, don't use your hands, right? And squeeze your legs together and tuck your feet in and really grip that body just like you're on the back of a bull, and that's how you mount somebody. Had Glover been doing that, he wouldn't have been shook off of that mount from that simple buck and backdoor escape. And I think he could have potentially won that fight. I mean, it was still a great fight as it is. Honestly, he was tagging Jamal Hill a lot more than I've heard people talk about. Go back and watch that fight, guys. He smacked the shit out of Jamal Hill a bunch of times. It's just that Jamal had the kicks going all night. Jamal hit him with big punches. And, one more thing I'll say, Glover Teixeira's got a chin, dude. At 43, that man could take a shot. You got to be impressed with that.
Yeah, man. Glover's durability is incredible. And I think it's the right time to call it a career. Jamal Hill, now the champion. I think some interesting potential challengers looming. The Magomed Ankalaevs, obviously Jiri Prochazka. Even a Jan Blachowicz fight is interesting. The UFC light heavyweight division's at an interesting point, right? At one time, the light heavyweights were the best in the world. The UFC those were the guys, John Jones, Daniel Cormier, Chuck Liddell before that, even Shogun Rua in his prime, Rashad Evans at one point, Lyoto Machida,
Rampage, Randy Couture,
Forrest Griffin. At one point, I looked at light heavyweight and that was, even though the heavyweight's the baddest man on the planet, that was like the baddest man on the planet. Light heavyweight was my favorite weight class as a kid. And now it's really dulled out inside of the UFC. I think Jamal Hill's a really good fighter, but I don't know if he's the absolute best period in the entire world. I think Prochazka, when he comes back, is a hard fight. I know what you're thinking, Mike. I know Vadim Nemkov is a name, and it's on my mind too. I watched Vadim Nemkov's last fight with Corey Anderson, and he looks incredible. I want to see Vadim Nemkov get a chance in the UFC at some point because I'm just curious to see him versus a Magomed Ankalaev. That's a tremendous matchup. Him versus a Jamal Hill. Him versus a Prochazka again. Like, if we can get Vadim over to the dark side, I feel like there's some crazy matchups for him. And legacy-wise, he has to wonder how he'll compete, right, with the best of the best in the UFC. He's beaten the probably top 5 guy, Corey Anderson, who, just got badly knocked out in his final UFC fight, but then went on a tear through Bellator, was beating Vadim in their first fight, no contest. It's an interesting sport, man. We're at an interesting point in the fight game.
I love that you brought up the light heavyweight division. Let's talk about it. So, Jamal Hill is now the UFC light heavyweight champion. I do not think he is a top 5 light heavyweight in the world. And I know there are people who are going to disagree with me about that. I even saw, up here, some people were just saying, you're mad. Been a fan of Hill for 3 years. So glad he won it in the fashion he did also. I could share that sentiment. He seems like a good human being, very exciting fighter to watch. But are his skills at the level of a Magomed Ankalaev? Are his skills, is he as you know, well-rounded as a, you know, Corey Anderson, Vadim Nemkov, Jiri Prochazka. Dude, I think Jiri Prochazka kicks his ass. And he does have some dangerous hands, and he showed us he's got some dangerous high kicks too. But I think Jiri Prochazka is significantly better than Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill. So I don't think he's, you know, I don't think he's the best in the UFC. I don't think he's the best outside of the UFC.
It's interesting.
You know,
Man. Yeah.
I'll even say Blachowicz beats him, brother.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from with the stylistic matchup. Blachowicz got the real power, and he definitely could sit in more than Glover can. And I feel like the Glover that we saw against Blachowicz was top. That was the best we'd seen. Then he fought, you know, Prochazka, obviously loses that, took a ton of damage. Fought against Jamal Hill, took a ton of damage. Yeah, I think Jamal Hill, he gets his moment. I'm happy for him, but there are some killers looming. Whether it's Ankalaev, whether it's Blachowicz, whether it's Jiri Prochazka, all of them are significant challenges.
Yeah.
Forthcoming. Even, I mean, in Anthony Smith fight, I know they were training together. That's not an easy fight for Jamal Hill either. I think right now he's at the top of the weight class, and there's going to be some killers gunning for him. So very intense for him, dude. Very intense to be in that spot. He is, I'm assuming, going to keep improving. One thing I'll always say with Jamal Hill that I like, his little edge that he brings, is being southpaw.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And being long as hell, bro. How long are those arms? My man, Sweet Dreams can put you to sleep from a block away. But you bring up Anthony Lionheart Smith. See, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. I do think he can hang with that
I think
part
he
of
can.
the division. You know, the middle of the top 10. I think he can hang with them. It's just when he gets to those top 3, and then outside of the UFC, you know, like Corey Anderson. How bad of a matchup is Corey Anderson for?
It's a hard fight. Phil Davis, bro. We forget about Phil Davis, but he's.
How are we gonna forget about Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis? Phil, you could have that UFC light heavyweight strap right now, my friend. Instead, of course, he's in the tougher light heavyweight division in Bellator. I mean, which is funny because people, I mean, they sell. The UFC light heavyweight division still sells. It might not be the biggest division in the UFC, right? It's not the money division it was when Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz were going back and forth. But it clearly, you know, is drawing in numbers still and headlining cards. And it's weird because they made a couple mistakes, like losing Corey Anderson, that made the light heavyweight division a little thinner. The UFC used to have Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis as well. These are bad matchups for Sweet Dreams, you know? So it would be cool to see the best light heavyweights fight each other. So far in 2023, they're split amongst these two organizations. Unfortunately, too, because we like to see the best fight the best, AJ. That's why we love this sport. We like to see the undisputed champs. It's going to be hard to determine that, especially at 205.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look, you have number 1 in the weight class, like just my pound for pound, or I guess not pound for league. I'd say we go Prochazka 1. I think 2, I'd lean towards Vadim Nemkov. 3, I'd probably put Magomed Ankalaev. I might put Jamal Hill at 4, with Blachowicz following at 5, but I might put Blachowicz. I don't know. Before, I guess I'll pick. You know what? I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill above Blachowicz for the simple fact that he beat Glover, who Glover then, you know, obviously was able to beat Jan Blachowicz. So I'll go with Jamal there. He's probably he's top 4 best. One fight too that we're not even talking about, someone that's forgotten, is Alexander Rakic. That's a fucking beast of a man fighting. Oh yeah, he might be the underdog contender on the come up, man. He might be the dude.
He's dangerous, dude. Yeah. So there's some fun light heavyweight fights. See, it's not all bad. It's not all sob story out here. There's some fun light heavyweight fights.
I'm gonna cry, Mike. I'm gonna cry it out.
Dana was upset about Ankalaev and Blachowicz. You know, he didn't like that. But you know, I do definitely believe that those are two of the best fighters in the world. And I think Ankalaev is gonna come get that belt, brother. I mean, that's all that makes sense. He seems pissed though. He's like really mad that this fight happened and doesn't understand it and this and that. Yeah, I don't know. I actually scored that fight a draw, Blachowicz and Ankalaev.
Fair score. That's a fair score. At the end of the day, he didn't get the finish. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. The UFC light heavyweight division, though, still the pinnacle because of the UFC. But
that's why. But I'm telling you agree that if Corey Anderson fought Sweet Dreams Hill, he's taking him down and smashing him.
I'm not going to say smash him, but he's got a chance to take him down. The question mark lies in the Jamal Hill power. Could he land on that chin early enough? And I think if he hit a Corey Anderson clean, he can knock him out. Vadim Nemkov, though, Mike, I'm on the Vadim Nemkov side. I'm a big believer. I like Vadim. Yeah, I think Vadim beats him. I'd go Vadim Nemkov over a Jamal Hill. I want Vadim in the UFC. I've been thinking this for a
I know.
while. Get me Vadim in the fucking UFC at this point because I need to see it. I need it.
When I heard Vadim Nemkov was fighting Yoel Romero, I was like, why did they do that to Yoel?
That's
Like,
the bad
holy
fight,
shit,
dude.
Vadim
Come
is
on.
so good, and Yoel is so 40s, you know?
Yeah.
It's like give me Fedor versus Yoel Romero already, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, the light heavyweight division is fun, brother. Was there another title fight that
There
went
was.
down?
There was another title fight. Davison Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno. Moreno gets it done. You know, I flipped my pick to Moreno after the weigh-ins. I did not like Figueiredo's little bit of cockiness that he had. Like, I was like, all right, Moreno looks real calm. Figgy looks overly concerned. I don't know, man. I guess when Figueiredo doesn't train with Henry Cejudo, he's like 75% of the fighter that he could be. I don't think, and this is my honest opinion, he
Big
puts in
props.
the same amount of work without Cejudo there because I feel like having that champion in the room, it puts the level of expectation higher. When Davison Figueiredo is training at Team Figueiredo, he's the best guy there. All his coaches probably worship him as the best fighter in Brazil. He was the champ. He was the #1 flyweight. Davison Figueiredo, I would say, is he the best flyweight of all time for Brazil? Brazil's best flyweight. I can't think of another name that pops in my head.
Yeah, of
I know
course.
I'd say it's him. So like, I feel like he gets maybe that royalty treatment. Whereas when you go to Fight Ready, there's fucking monsters in that room. There's Henry Cejudo across the way. It was a mistake on his part. He got too comfortable. Moreno took it from him. And now Moreno Pantoja is an interesting matchup because Pantoja beat him twice already.
Yeah, Pantoja talking shit in the back.
Already,
Damn,
bro.
Pantoja, can my man Brandon
Yeah.
Moreno have a moment? No, he
No.
wanted to pick his fight, and that's a fun one, dude. That makes sense. I love to see the division actually moving now. That's
Yeah.
great, you know?
Back to life.
Yeah, get it back to life. Let's see some new matchups instead of Figgy and Moreno every weekend. Like, this is going to be fun. Pantoja's a tough test for him, dude. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's a super fun fight. And you know, the fans love Brandon Moreno. People love Assassin Baby. They want to see the Legos. They want to see his goofy ass boxing coming out there. And he's a well-rounded kid, too, exciting to watch. You know, if you're going to a card, if you heard the co-main event was Brandon Moreno, you're like, sick. It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, I'm a Moreno fan. I'm a fan of his style, his personality. He sells to me. Him and Pantoja is a good fight. I don't think it's an easy one, though, because it seems like Pantoja has the code. I remember Brandon Moreno Pantoja on that Ultimate Fighter season. I watched every episode in depth as they dropped, bro. That was like my peak of Ultimate Fighter fanhood, was like those seasons there. And I was watching everything. And I remember seeing Moreno and thinking he's a really good fighter, and he gave Pantoja a hard out. He goes on to become UFC champ. Pantoja's had a couple fumbles along the way, but he still has a win in the UFC over Moreno and on the Ultimate Fighter. The trilogy makes a ton of sense. You got to think Pantoja has his number, though. Like, I just think, like, certain guys, what his name? Potan said he lost to somebody in kickboxing, 2 times. He said, this guy just had my number every time. He said, he's just the stylistic matchup. I just don't have him. Adesanya, same difference with Potan. And it seems like maybe Pantoja Moreno's that same type of thing.
Assassin Baby got better. You got to admit to me, Assassin Baby is better than ever right now.
No, I think he's the best that he's ever been. I just feel like, I don't know, man. If a dude beats you twice, he might have that number. Like, something that he does just doesn't match up right versus your style. But it's 5 rounds, man.
Let me look at the date on that last fight, because when I saw Assassin Baby fight for the title the first time, right, when he came storming in and was able to make that incredible fight with Figgy and steal that belt, that's when you really saw him turn a corner. Yeah, so it's been a minute. He lost to Pantoja in 2018. After that, he beat Kai Kara France. He went to that draw with Oscar Askarov. He beat Brandon Royval. Then, Formiga, I mean, the list goes on. He had a lot of tests. I think this is a better Assassin Baby than ever before. So as far as like writing him off with the, I'm putting words in your mouth now, but with, that he has his number, you were saying that he has his number. I think he's got a new phone number.
All right. Mike Finch thinks he changed it. I respect it. Not an official pick. I'm not telling you guys exactly what it is. I want to bring some of these comments up right here. What is it? AJ, I expect better from you. Hill is a much better fight IQ you think. I'm not saying Jamal Hill is a bad fighter by saying he's top 5 in the world. I just feel there are guys that do match up better than a Glover Teixeira does against him, and I think they can capitalize. But hey, he's got a legit chance to show all of us and prove us all wrong in his first title defense, which I'm assuming is around summertime. Hoping it's summertime.
I'll go in on it more. I mean,
Yeah.
how many shots does he really have in his book? All Jamal Hill showed us was that he can slow it down. He could relax and go 25 minutes. He doesn't have to go like balls to the wall. And that's with an opponent who's kind of, evading him a little bit. Like Glover Teixeira would exchange at times, but a lot of that fight, Glover was wiping blood out of his eyes and taking some deep breaths. He had a 43-year-old Glover Teixeira in front of him. How does he do in a 5-round fight against an Ankalaev, against you don't have to hear us go through the whole division again. I think not as well. I don't think his fight IQ is nearly as high as some of these other light heavyweights. And, I do think that will come through. And one of the things you could see is just his lack of shots. Like he doesn't have a lot of, his takedown defense was like the same every time until Glover finally chained the takedowns together. Like Glover would try that single leg, and you just saw he's got some hips, he's got a little angly hits, but there was no kick out with the overhook, pushing the head, entering. There was no takedown defense into offense like you would like to see from a great wrestler would normally do, right? If you shoot on Henry Cejudo, not only are you going to get stuffed, you're going to get punished as well for shooting. There was none of those consequences there for Glover. I think that shows us that that perhaps there's a lot more room to grow here for a Jamal Hill.
Dream scenario: Poatan beats Adesanya again.
Poatan knocks Jamal Hill out.
That's the fight I want to see. Jamal Hill beats whoever's next in front of him. Poatan jumps up and we do Poatan Jamal Hill. That would be a fucking crazy fight. Holy shit.
Poatan's way better at striking. He's
a different level. He's
way better.
He's got more power.
Knocks Jamal Hill out 10 times out of 10.
You think 10? I'm gonna say I give him 7 out of 10. I think that Jamal Hill, a couple of them can land like a dynamite left because, dude, he's fucking quick, man. I think I'll say Jamal Hill, his like underrated best punch is that uppercut. He's got a pretty quick one that he stings up there,
Agreed. Yeah. And he uses his frame well. Like the way he throws punches, he snaps right at the end of those long arms. So he's not boxing like a little guy. He uses his frame properly. And man, he came in shape. It was cool to see him in shape for this fight and able to push 25 minutes.
Question.
Hopefully I didn't rag on him too much.
No, you're good, Mike. Listen, you can have a hard take. You're known for it. Mike Finch doesn't fucking hold any punches. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you guys what I see. I see him losing this belt this year.
I get that. I'm going to say I think I agree. Figueiredo, though, decides I'm going up a weight class. How do you think he does, man? My matchup choice was Dominic Cruz next.
Ooh, I like that, brother. That was a nice little treat. Now I got to go through that one. I mean, yeah, that's a fun fight. Yeah, that's a really good one.
I'm going to say this. I think he could get past the Cruz because of Cruz obviously slowing down. At this point, I don't think we got the same Dominic Cruz. A lot of wear and tear, a lot of injuries. He took a fucking bad knockout in the last one. I think Figgy at 135 will carry more power. I actually think he's going to be a little bit more powerful up a weight, but that doesn't mean he's going to be taking over the division. I think he can get past the Dominic Cruz, but I think a Marlon Vera is going to be a serious problem. Can you imagine a Corey Sandhagen with his size, a Petr Yan matchup, Merab Divashvili? 135 is hell, man.
Yeah.
It's a hell weight class. If you are a 135-pound fighter, you're looking at that division saying, dude, I'm fighting straight killers all the way through and through. You saw Daniel Marcos in the first fight of this card, and he looks like a guy that might be able to challenge, for a title in the next few years. Like he looks like a up-and-coming guy, in my opinion. I like Marcos a lot.
I'm pulling up the UFC top 10 bantamweights.
Do it.
Doing this shit. All right. Aljamain Sterling up at the top. Just stole that from Henry Cejudo. Sean O'Malley. Tough fight for him. Petr Yan, Merab. Yeah, all these are tough fights. Marlon Chito Vera, Corey Sandhagen. But now we're getting into, 6 on down. Rob Font, Dominic Cruz, Song Yadong, Pedro Muniz. I mean, these are...
These are winnable fights.
I think that Davison Figueiredo is clearly a top 10 bantamweight.
Yeah.
Is he a top 5 bantamweight? I'm going to read these off to you. Tell me if he's the favorite in any of these. Corey Sandhagen, Chito Vera, Merab, Yan, O'Malley, or Aljamain Sterling, or even Henry Cejudo. Is he the favorite in any of those fights?
No, not in any of them. I would say he would be an underdog. Besides, when we get out, I think he'd be an underdog even against Rob Font at 6. I think he actually might be a slight favorite over Dominic Cruz. I think he might be a little bit close money, but I could see him as a dog against Song Yadong, favorite against Pedro Munoz. Against Ricky Simone, he might be an underdog,
I
man.
could see him beating Song Yudong.
I think he could beat a Yudong. I'll say this. My predictions, I look at the top 10. I think he can beat a Dominic Cruz, a Yudong, a Munoz. I think he actually has a harder fight with a Ricky Simone. Definitely with an Umar Nurmagomedov. Chris Gutierrez is a hard fight. I think Adrian Yanez, I'm torn on
That's
that one.
fun. Oh,
That's a fun
can you
fight.
give me that one? Adrian Yanez versus Figgy. Sign me up.
If Adrian Yanez wins a couple more, and then let's say, Davison Figueiredo beats Dominic Cruz in the next year, takes some time off, like that could be a matchup that happens. The dream scenario was for me to see Cody No Love Garbrandt versus Davison Figueiredo, but Garbrandt's on the downslope and he's already booked to fight Julio Arce. So for me, when I did my, every fight to make next breakdown, I looked through the rankings. I say, okay, what's the fight that I want to see, but it's also realistic? And that's where I landed on Dominic Cruz.
5-0 in the UFC is Yanez. He's got knockouts after knockout after knockout. Just knocked out Tony Kelly in the last one. Dude, I think Yanez is ready right now. What do you mean a couple more wins? He's ready right now for Figgy.
For Figgy, you don't disrespect him. I give him a top 13. You got to give him someone in the top 7.
Disrespect? No, you bring him up right, bro. He just lost. Bring him up right.
You lean towards the mindset of you give Yanez the shot against the old lion. I think it's dangerous, man, because if Figgy loses, it's like, fuck. If he wins, it's like, okay, you beat Yanez. He's 13. He hasn't fought anybody. But if you beat Dominic Cruz, you beat the former champion of the world.
And if you lose to Dominic Cruz, you just lost to the old commentator who's got knee problems.
Yeah, but then you still say, I lost to the former champ. And then we do the Yanez fight. Then we do the Yanez fight after that.
I see you.
I think you can keep both fights alive. Whereas if we just give him like a Yanez, if he loses that fight, it's definitely killing the Yanez fight, or it's killing the Dominic Cruz match ever. He's fighting Cody No Love then if he loses that one.
Loser goes home. Yeah. No, fun fights at 135 for Figgy, and all the best to him, man. It was really cool to go see him train before and go over there to fight ready. I agree with you that Henry Cejudo made a big difference, and hopefully we'll see one of these fun fights, at 135.
This is a good one here. Tarzan Strickland. Hopefully Fig's issues are weight cut related and not mental, been inconsistent in performance. I would assume it's probably more the weight cut and the mental side of the stress that is a 125-pound weight cut. Or I guess it's not 125 weight count, but cut into 125. I think at 135, you get a remotivated, reinvigorated, and more dangerous version of Davison Figueiredo who can extend his career a little bit more. I think he's got 3, 4, 5 fights left at 135. But I think if he decided to stay at 25, it's a downslope from here. I see him in a weird position because I still kind of feel like people might wonder what would happen between him and Moreno a 5th time out. But let's hold the brakes on that. Let's pump them. Let's do 135 Dominic Cruz. That's my thoughts, Mike.
I know that in the third fight with Assassin Baby, the one he looked good in, that it was a tough weight cut, that they were really, really concerned about the weight cut. That here's a little inside info for you guys. He ended up kicking somebody out of his fighter house, like they were renting a house, and somebody was, somehow being annoying. He kicked him out on weight cut week. Like they're not fucking around on weight cut week because it was a really big problem for him. Yeah, let's see him lift some weights, man. I want to see him come in there healthy. 135 is the right spot for him.
Agreed. 135, Figueiredo, more dangerous than I think he's ever been. But we will keep on moving through. I want to go down to Gilbert Burns, who beat the shit out of Neil Magny. Not a close fight. I feel like I'm like Mike Finch when I say beat the shit, because I feel like you say that a lot. He did, man. He fucked him up. Listen, the jiu-jitsu of Burns is not to be slept on. Right. Neil Magny, he's a good fighter, but when you turn him to that elite level, he fumbles. And that was proof in this matchup. Gilbert Burns is top tier. He called out Colby Covington after too, Mike.
Wow. Yeah, him and Colby coaching the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
Pretty fun.
Yes.
I mean, Gilbert's going to be a good coach. It won't be like one of those, it won't be like Chael Sonnen versus Vanderlei Silva where they're fighting on the set. Like Gilbert Burns is such a nice guy.
No, he's going to get pissed at Colby, though. I feel like that's the one guy that can fucking piss him off.
Really? That could piss Gilbert off?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody could piss Gilbert off, bro. I'm going to say Colby can't do it. I'm going to say Gilbert keeps that big old smile on his face. But yes, I agree with you. Phenomenal jiu-jitsu. And Neil Magny was not calling out, but said he wanted to fight Hamzat. No, you don't, brother. No, you don't. No, you don't.
He said he fucked around and found out in training. They trained together.
That's right.
And he said, "Oh, I'm good. He knows now.
In that same interview, he still wanted it though.
Yeah,
He
he's
still
a
wanted
ballsy
that fight.
motherfucker.
So
He's
yeah,
crazy.
I saw the training footage where Hamzat's having his way, man. What a grappler Hamzat is too. But yeah, Gilbert Burns, jiu-jitsu champ. Dude, sky's the limit for him. He's one of the best. He's clearly one
Yeah.
of the best up there. Former 155 pounder, so it's interesting to see how well he's doing at 170. You know, the 155 division is so stacked, so deep with talent that yeah, just put a little more muscle on a 155er. He's a top 5, 170 pounder. They're just so damn good at that weight class. You know, if we saw other 155ers move up, I think we'd see similar success. If Islam Makhachev moved up to fight Leon Edwards, I think he'd beat his ass.
I heard some rumors about maybe them doing a little bit of grappling and Makhachev having his way with them. So interesting note. Interesting note. We'll see.
I did not know that. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
I don't
Is
know
that
if it's
right?
for certain. I heard rumors.
Rumors. All right. My
Mm.
buddy Billy Cleary, shout
Yeah.
out, is a photographer for Leon Edwards. I'm going to clear that with him. See if Leon Edwards and Hamzat trained together. I don't know.
Islam, not Hamzat.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant to say. Why am I out here mixing
up?
up?
All right. He's mixing up the Dagestan or the Chechenian.
Come on, man. No, that's what I meant. Yes, Islam Makhachev training with Leon Edwards. News to me.
News to you. News to probably the vast majority. But I don't know. Is it true? Who knows? It might be fallacy. That's what I've heard. I think Gilbert Burns is a problem.
Neil's a real fighter. He'll fight anyone. Got to respect that. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Neil Magny's got one of those records where they fought everybody. You got to respect it. Me and AJ were doing a breakdown for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships earlier. We had a guy with 22 wins and 11 losses. But I dig into those 11 losses and I'm seeing Daniel Strauss and all these big. Actually, he beat Daniel Strauss. What am I saying? Patchy Mix and Tony Gravely. It's like it matters who you lose to. It matters who you're competing against. You could have a padded record like Ihor Potieria, and it looks good, but you really haven't beaten anybody. Neil Magny's fought the best of the best.
Neil Magny has fought everyone, man, and I feel like he doesn't win against everyone, but he's a UFC staple. You talk about a successful fighter, I think of Neil Magny. I know he's never going to be champ, but he went through the Ultimate Fighter. He didn't win the show. He made it to the semifinals, and he has turned fighting into a career, and I think he's making damn good money. He's living good, and he's not taking a ton of damage. Neil Magny's not getting flatlined a lot. Usually his losses are to grapplers, guys that take him down. I mean, he beat Jeff Neal. He's still top caliber. It's just stylistically, certain matchups, he just doesn't shine in, and that's a Gilbert Burns matchup.
100%. And there's a guy with a high fight IQ, by the way. Neil Magny's seen it all. I've done commentary with Hoosier Fight Club sitting next to Neil Magny, and he knows the game, man. He's very smart. So, don't write Neil Magny off yet. He's just not a top 5 170 pounder. And that's just the way it is.
That's
Dirty rag. Neil's a fighter. Oh, sorry. Underneath it, Burns and Colby will go to the cards. Okay, Gilbert Burns versus Colby Covington. You want to talk about it? You came to the right place. Colby Covington will try to put a high output on him. That's speed versus power on the feet, right? Gilbert Burns showed us against Hamzat Chimaev just how dangerous he is on the feet. So it'll be Gilbert Burns trying to put Colby down, put him out, break his jaw, right? Cave his tooth in, whatever Masvidal did to him. And and then we'll see how Colby's output goes. I think if Colby wins, it's a decision. If Gilbert wins, I actually might expect a submission, a KO. Like Gilbert should be going for it. Colby's the guy who's going to drive that car for 5 rounds, win those rounds.
You'd pick. It sounds like you're picking Colby Covington if they face off.
I didn't give no pick. I'm just saying if they're gonna face off,
just picking Colby Covington.
I mean, because brother, look, Gilbert Burns really has dangerous hands now. I think a big deal. What Sanford MMA now, Killcliff, right? He's over there training with the Bellator champ at 170 as well, and those guys working together, dude. His wrestling is better than ever. His striking's better than ever. Like Gilbert Burns really has turned a corner. AJ was trying to tell me that Pantoja might have the number, right, of Brandon Moreno. I think people like Brandon Moreno, people like Gilbert Burns, this late in their career, they are legitimately better than they've ever been. They legitimately have turned corners in the last couple of years. I think you'll continue to see that with Gilbert Burns. His striking is probably still better than some people want to give him credit for.
I get that. I think I think Gilbert Burns, his overhand punch is one of the hardest at 170. He can flatline some fucking people.
Bro.
He's a murderer.
And he doesn't have to worry about winging it because if he ends up on his back, you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah, facts. Mike, I got to ask the people something. We got 80 people up in here. Guys, we need you to smash the like button, show some love. We're reacting to the UFC 283 card, and then we are going to talk early leans for our card coming up next weekend, which is UFC Vegas 68, Lewis versus Spivac. Stay tuned for it all. We appreciate you guys watching. Let's keep on moving down the card. I like going in backwards order for the recap. Like, I don't know. It's just, you know, we get to go through it. This one's probably quicker. It's Andrade versus Murphy. Listen,
Andrade has got hands, AJ.
Hands on hands, bro. I don't think that many girls can strike with her. But then when you look at the best girls on the planet, Valentina Shevchenko, Weili Zhang, those are the difficult matchups. Those top two, even like a Manon Farrow would be an interesting fight. But I think Andrade, like, I don't know, she might be able to get to Farrow. No girl is as tough as Lauren Murphy, though. She's tough as they come.
Shit, dude.
She's tough as ever.
Thrown in the towel, man. That was messed up.
You think so?
Dude. Yeah, bro. They could have thrown that towel in, man. She was getting tagged up really bad. She just wasn't in the fight anymore. You know, she couldn't take her down. Even when she did, she had nothing there. You know, Jessica was better everywhere. It's pretty much as we broke it down. I mean, we called this fight right down the middle, but you know, Andrade's hands, I mean, she looked real good, just moving her head and throwing. And you know, Lauren Murphy looked like she had hired Ronda Rousey's head movement coach. You know what I'm saying? It was stationary, brother. She was not moving that head at all. It was found every single time Andrade went looking for it.
Facts. Yeah, she found it easily, consistently. And it was a beating. It was one-sided ass whooping. But hey, good shit. Andrade wins. Title shot next. That's what's next for her. At 115 pounds, though.
100%. She looked phenomenal. I got some comedians in the chat here. Dirty Reg, pretty funny. West Coast, pretty funny.
That's good. Good shit. They're smashing the likes. Good people. Good people smashing those fucking likes. We appreciate you guys, man. We appreciate the off weeks. Listen, me and Mike try to always bring a show in the off week and make it fun. It sucks not having fights. Yeah, come hang out, bro.
Ask us what you want. What do you guys want to talk about? Let me know. I'll call it out, and AJ's going to bring it up.
Dude, you guys, right now, you know, I might not be bringing up all the chat like I do on the late night live stream, but ask away with questions, and I'm telling you, you'll get an answer. If you just make a statement, maybe I don't bring it on screen, but questions will be answered in the chat, guys, just so you know. I want to keep running through the main card. Paul Craig, Johnny Walker. Dude, Paul Craig's fucking fantastic run is done with. He has a win over the champion. He has a win over Magomed Ankalaev. But when you look at the early fights, Khalil Roundtree starched him. Tyson Pedro starched him. Alonzo Menafield starched him. Johnny Walker has now starched him. He doesn't do well with hard punchers, man. Done.
Johnny Walker's just a wild man. You know, you can't hang on to his leg and close your eyes. Like, Johnny Walker's going to slam his forearm into the side of your head until the referee pulls him off. And, man, that was a sick little parlay I hit there. I had Walker and Gilbert Burns. Felt like the easiest money I've ever made.
That's good shit, Mike. Yeah, I think that those were two supreme locks. You were more confident on Walker than I was earlier in the week. And then after the weigh-ins, my confidence for Walker went up. I am not a huge fan of fighters that bring a lot of nervous energy to weigh-ins. When I see Paul Craig getting in your face, staring down, I'm like, okay, he's lacking something. Johnny Walker looks calm as I've ever seen. He's like, oh, yeah. So to me, I just feel like Johnny Walker is also reaching a point where I think he's improved his game and he knows what works for him.
Yeah.
Still, though, what's next for him? It has to be Anthony Smith. It's got to be a big fight. He's right there. That's the matchup now.
That makes sense. Anthony Lionheart Smith. Johnny Walker. It's a fun fight.
I like that fight a ton, man. We got complaints that we need predictions for Lewis Spivac, guys. You guys got more than a fucking we got nearly 2 weeks until that cut. Relax, sit down. We're talking fights right now. We'll give you a little early leans on that one. Chill out, brother. Chill. How long is Jiri out for, and is his career compromised? I would say that both of those questions are pure speculation.
Right.
I'm hearing that he wants to come back this summer, but then you hear other people say, no way, he'll be ready to come back. I don't know. Is he compromised forever? Also, I don't know. I'm going to lean not compromised forever, but he will probably be out till at least July.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And as far as, like, you know, career-long injuries, you guys can't tell. It's really about how he trains. Him swinging around that samurai sword, maybe not the best thing. Like, you don't want to see – I want to see somebody train really smart when they come back from an injury. Jiri Prochazka seems like a pretty smart dude. I think he could you know, rehab himself all the way. Like, maybe a good example would be like a Dominic Cruz. Like, a lot of his title defenses were on bad knees. You know, a good example would be like a Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman's battled with knee injuries his entire career.
Isn't that
A good
insane?
example would be Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov did all of those big wins, the Conor McGregor win, and all those. Those were with, you know, some serious injuries that he already had dealt with. He thought about retiring earlier in his UFC career. And, you know, so you got to look at the way they train and the way they've been able to overcome those injuries. It's a time will tell type of thing, man.
We shall see. We shall see. Black Zillion, San Fermin or Killcliff. Do you know a gym that changes names so much? I'm assuming it's change of ownership. That's why the names have shifted. Different money coming in. Yeah, man. They're throwing out. We taking over.
They're using the name, right, as a marketing ploy for some company. So the company comes in and has the name, and then they get money out of it. I mean, it makes sense, you know? So that's an interesting idea. You know, you don't get that from a normal gym. Kings MMA is going to stay Kings MMA because they're kings over there. You know what I'm saying?
They might call it Jack's MMA next, man.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You know, Burger King MMA. Like, you know, if you want to change it to the sponsor's name, it's just an interesting tactic, you know? And if you can get, you know, more equipment in your gym, or you have to charge the fighters less. Like, generally, here's a tidbit for you guys. Generally, fighters will pay their coaches 10% of their purse. That includes win bonus, 10% of the win bonus if they win. You know, maybe you could do less or something because of those sponsors. I'm just talking hypotheticals here. You know, it's like you try to bring money into the gym, because believe it or not, owning a gym is like one of the most competitive things you could possibly own. You know, everybody's got a gym, every freaking corner. I'm here in Huntington Beach, California. I mean, I don't know how many gyms I could name around here. Equinox, UFC Gym Huntington Beach, LA Fitness, 24-Hour Fitness, Kings MMA, Ruka. I mean, it just goes on and on. Tony Ferguson's over there, Black Zillions are over there. Excuse me, Black House is over there. You know, so it's just an incredible amount of competition when you own a gym. They're trying to make some money, dog. This
MMA
is
gyms.
strategic.
That is interesting, man. I know my dad had a boxing gym for a while, and
Okay.
I will stand by. It was the best gym it was the biggest and best gym in Tampa, Florida by far. To get set match, we had the best fucking guys in there. That place was fucking, honestly, premier level. The reason it went under is not financial. It's just the guy that had the building didn't want to release. He's like, because certain people feel a little weird about having fighters maybe around their building. You know, I don't know. They got a little bit cold feet after the first 5 years, and then obviously didn't renew. And it's easier not to have a gym. I'll say that. From seeing the insides of running a gym, bro, it's a fucking full-time gig. You have to be there, or you need a manager who you can trust with everything. You know how many managers fucking stole money, bro? It's how it works. These guys easily can take. Boxing is a little different. MMA, I don't want to just presume and say, oh, you might get, you know, more classier folks. Not everywhere, but you know what I'm saying, Mike. Like you could see in a boxing gym, maybe it's a little rougher around the edges management. But dude, like running a gym is major fucking business. It's full time. And like Mike said, it's competitive as hell. MMA, I couldn't imagine with the boxing gym. I think with a boxing gym is easier, because you bring a quality boxing gym with good attitude coaches and people that really want to teach how to fight, not just, oh, I fucking know everything. I'm looking for only the next champ. You got that little kid that fucking got that big gut, and you're going to help him get in shape. That's how I think a boxing gym can do really well. But MMA, I guess, is probably naturally, I feel like they go towards a mix of fitness and fighting. Whereas like with boxing gyms, they kind of only push fighting, or only push like looking for the charm, and they're a little bit mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you think of a boxing gym, I don't know, like you went to that boxing gym to shoot that thing for the BKFC thing. I don't know if you've ever trained in there, like, but what I've seen from boxing gyms, A1 boxing. So I don't know how they are, but what I've seen from boxing gyms and what I hear from people that grew up in boxing gyms, whatever, is pretty simple. You're new blood in the gym. It's fucking ass whooping time. You need to prove your point before you actually get any looks, you know? Whereas I feel like at our gym, we gave some love to even the new guys coming in. You didn't have to fucking, you know, show up and get beat up to learn something. You could first learn and then get beat up.
Yeah, to me, I don't put it as a boxing gym or MMA gym thing. Like, for instance, there are boxing gyms like LA Boxing, right, which became UFC gym, really, which are totally just like mom and pop, bring your kids in, you're going to hit the bag, nobody's going to hit you type gym. And then there are boxing gyms like Goose Boxing Club, or you can go over here where they got real pros who are you're going to get circled in there and eaten alive. And same exact thing with MMA gyms. You can come to UFC Gym Huntington Beach and be a soccer mom and run on the treadmill and, you know, do your kickboxing workout on the bag. Or you can go over here to King's MMA and Giga Chikadze will knee you in the face when you try to shoot on him, you know? So there's an aspect of both. And by the way, just so you guys know, you're talking right up my alley. I mean, general manager of UFC Jim River North, general manager of UFC Jim Lincoln Park. I've been in this game for a long time. And I could tell you the one of the single most competitive businesses in the United States is a gym. If you want to lose money, open a gym. It's very, very tough. It's like a restaurant, you know. In order to make money at the restaurant, you got to have grandma in the back there doing the dishes. You got to have your kid up front playing hostess. It's like, you know, these are you try to. I'll give you guys a Peter Thiel business lesson really quick here. Billionaire Facebook investor Peter Thiel, SpaceX investor Peter Thiel. Competition is for losers. The idea that you want to aim for monopoly. So if you're going to open your own business, you don't want to be the 1,000th MMA gym. You want to be the one of one, right? What did Amazon start as? Amazon was just a bookstore. They took over books and they took over the fucking world. You see what I'm saying? So you want to dominate a niche, okay? That's Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 business book in 30 seconds. You're welcome.
Interesting. Mike Finch breaking it down. Look at this one right here. Yes, he did. And yes, he did. Ankalaev lost and Hill lost to Paul Craig. Paul Craig's got some win over
right?
some legacy fighters. Yeah,
he beats the top 5 and loses to the bottom. You know, it's
styles.
That's his style. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's his style, man. He's a great grappler. That's about it.
Ankalaev beats Hill. I'll say yes. Mike, this is purely for you right here.
Go on. Mike Finch, why did you stop fighting mixed martial arts? Respect on being undefeated. I appreciate that respect. Thank you very much. I have respect for you having respect for me, Kenny. I appreciate that. Kenny French, I stopped fighting in mixed martial arts because it's the hardest thing you could possibly do. When you're a mixed martial arts fighter, you don't dabble in MMA. You have to be all in, right? I'm not a hobby fighter. I'm all in with jiu-jitsu right now. I think I'm going to compete in jiu-jitsu this year. I'm feeling good. AJ DeVito's got me on this weightlifting program. I'm trying to gain some muscle, bro. I'm trying to work on it right now and get my cardio up too. And just working on this John Danaher, you know, killer leg lock system. And you know, I'll be drilling it tomorrow. Shout out to Gabe. And you know, we're gonna keep going with the grappling. And if an opportunity arises, I would fight. You know, I would fight the likes of like Ariel Helwani wanted to make his debut once. CM Punk was in the game once. I called out CM Punk on Twitter, and I messaged the matchmakers for the UFC at the time. And you know, Jake Paul. I mean, you go down the list. There are fun fights. I'd fight KSI in MMA. You know what I'm saying? But do I want to have 20 pro fights and be the UFC champion? I did when I was 12 years old. I don't anymore. And the reason is because it's not my happiness, man. Believe it or not, this is not tennis. Like, the consequences are serious. Did you watch that Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill fight? You know, I don't want my face to look like that. I just had to make that decision. And it took me having 5 MMA fights and getting, you know, wars and sparring and getting cut and getting, you know, I broke my hand on somebody's head. I've broken my ankle before. I tore the labrum in my shoulder. I mean, you gotta get your feet wet here, get wet in the rain a little bit to really know what it is. And I know what it is now. And what I want to do is do things outside of the cage. Hopefully entertaining you guys is one of those things and continues to be. AJ and I got a couple things cooking we can't talk about just yet, but you know, we're trying to make more happen with this on the mic stuff, and behind the microphones where I like to be. I can get some pizza. I don't gotta cut weight. You know what I'm saying? It's the good life, bro. I'm going for the easy life.
Mike Finch, respect, bro. How do you see Figgy doing versus top 5? We broke it down just a little bit ago. We think he loses to the top 5 bantamweights in the world, man.
John Jones cellmate, we literally talked about that exact thing for 10 minutes. Is that I know who that guy is in the picture there. Get the fuck out of here with this guy.
That's Mike Finch's favorite YouTuber,
man. It's all love around here. We got no hate in our hearts.
You can tell Walker's been training with Conor with that post-fight pose. I don't think that's true, to be honest. I don't think Conor McGregor is in the gym with Johnny Walker, but maybe he's taking influence from Conor McGregor. His coaches are there. Maybe the vibe is McGregor-esque. Right. Like, I don't think Conor's training with Johnny Walker. Sad to say it. Yeah.
No. Johnny Walker's always had his own style. That's his own, man. You know, I think Johnny Walker's just a wild man, and that's where that fight pose came from. Johnny Walker is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. It's just a matter of him getting that ball rolling, man. I think he's got it rolling now, and I think you'll see a lot of cool poses coming up if he keeps fighting like that. You know, we like to see the way he looked against Kutilaba, and now the way he just finished that fight. let's go, Johnny Walker.
I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan of Johnny Walker, bro. Walker by KO was money. I want to say something actually about Walker, bro. I was literally just sitting on the stream. Like, I didn't say this while I was doing the fight campaign, but I was just imagining. Can you imagine if Johnny Walker would have caught Corey Anderson with a knockout punch? He may very well have become the UFC champion, or at the very least fought for a belt and been in a totally different position with different matchups. Like, I think people wrote Johnny Walker off a little bit for a while, but you can't, man. He's too fucking crazy. His style, even Anthony Smith, that's a good fight. I think that happens. I think like Anthony Smith's the favorite, but Johnny Walker's got a legit chance always.
I think I'm taking Walker in that one, bro.
Really? Mike Finch taking Walker. I like it.
I think so, bro.
All right. All right.
I think Anthony Smith needs to get out from behind that desk. Yeah, I'll take Walker in that one. Early lean for a fight that's not even happening.
Early lean, Mike Finch. How about Luke Rockhold wanted to fight at Bellator? That's a great idea for him. I think you do him at Bellator. You get him in some fucking awesome fights there. I mean, I think, bro, my opinion on Bellator, can we bring back what we used to do? The Kimbo Slice main events, the Kensha. I want the fucking spectacle events. What made Bellator special to me was the spectacle events. I want them to bring it back, man. That would feel good. You still put Vadim Nemkov on the card fighting for the belt, and then co-main event, you can do a spectacle fight. I think it's a good idea.
Just do total freak show fights. Yeah. I mean, yeah. They've have they done much of that? Like Yoel Romero. Those are the type of main events where it's I say it all the time. Yoel Romero and Fedor. It's a fun fight to make. Shit like that. I agree with you, AJ. It's just like Dylan Dennis hasn't fought in 1,000 years. You know, Dylan Dennis is one they've had tucked away. Dylan Dennis has been signed with Bellator for a long time. So there's some guys on the shelf. You know, They're trying to make some compelling fights this year, but I agree with you that doing some fun fights in the main event. It's just like who would you like to see? For me, it was Yoel Romero Fedor, but they don't have a lot of Kimbo Slices.
Yeah, they need to find the next Kimbo, man. What are we doing? I need fun fights. Or bring me the retired guy.
Give me Paul, right? For
PFL. Let's do this. TRT Vitor Belfort. Let's bring him into Bellator. Let's do that fight. Bring that to me. I'm all in on that. I'm down. TRT Vitor versus Luke Rockhold 2. I'll fucking watch it. Count me in.
I don't even think Jake Paul wanted TRT Vitor. He stayed quiet about that call out. He's like, I'll take Anderson. I'm good. Vitor looks like he's working out. I'm good on this.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take TRT Vitor, period, bro. Talk about Petr Yan versus Merab. Yeah, we can talk about that fight. When it got announced, my first thought was, I think Merab might get him. But then the more I thought about it, I said, you know what? Marlon Moraes was able to land some serious shots. And I feel like Petr Yan's wrestling defense is there. And there's not going to be that backpack threat that Aljo brings. I think I got to lean Petr Yan. I think he can beat Merab here. Momentum's definitely not in his favor, though.
I don't know if I got a pick right now for you guys, but I can say that my first reaction on hearing that, I was like, shit, Petr Yan cannot get a fucking break, man. Like, let Petr Yan get a win and then fight the top 5 in the division. Merab's a problem. He's going to be shooting on him a lot. Obviously, Petr Yan's got it on the feet, but can Merab take him down? I'm really going to have to dig in to try to answer that question. Merab is kind of surging right now, and it's a tough fight for Petr Yan. They definitely didn't take it easy on him with the matchmaking.
Fuck, no, they did not. Had Nunes, Stamen, Almeida, Moises Rodriguez, Andrade, Burns at Hill, and an 8-fight parlay. Great play, man. Congrats.
Okay. Dinner on Omar. Let's go.
Good shit, mate. Gastelum versus Chris Curtis at UFC 287. Thoughts? Wow, that's a fucking surprise announcement. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually.
That's dope.
I like that fight. I think Kelvin Gastelum's boxing is a legit factor in that matchup. Chris Curtis hits really hard, but he's not going to knock out Kelvin. Is 3 rounds, 5 rounds, I'm more confident towards Gastelum. 3 rounds, man, Chris Curtis going to make him work, but I'll call Gastelum on a decision in this one. I think he can beat Chris Curtis. That's my early pick.
Kelvin Gastelum, I've had the pleasure of sparring with, and 2 things that people don't see enough from him. The dude has a super fast jab. When he wants to relax and let his jab go, I think that could pay real dividends against a Chris Curtis who really catches anything half speed. If you're throwing half speed at Chris Curtis, he's moving his head, he's catching it on the shoulders, he's parrying it out of the way. But if he could just give me a feint one, I think Kelvin could really work that jab. And another thing people haven't seen a lot from Kelvin, I've gone home and had to ice my legs legs because Kelvin's burying his shins through his shin guard into my thighs, man. And I think I'm pretty good at checking kicks, but damn, when you start sweating the hands, Kelvin can deliver the low kicks too. So there's a guy he could probably kick against and not really worry about it too much. I think jabs and leg kicks could actually pay a lot of dividends against Chris Curtis. And I can't say anything bad about Chris Curtis either, though, because my guy Mads Burnell and Chris are good training partners, and I'll have to ask Mads what's going on with Chris. They got a similar style. All I could say is that is a fan-friendly fight, man. Those two will go toe-to-toe. There'll be no bullshit in that fight. That's one you want to see live. That's one you want to watch. Chris Curtis and Kelvin Gastelum is a competitive fight.
Yeah, I like that matchup. Yes, please. That's what I'll say to that fight. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
hell yeah.
Let's look at this question right here. This is a good one. Jailton Almeida, what's his ceiling? Dude, I think sky's the limit. His jiu-jitsu is reminiscent of Minotauro Nogueira, but better. He's better with his takedowns. He's faster. I think he's stronger. And at this point, it seems like that heavyweight division is very wide open for him to emerge in like that top 5. Where trouble comes, I'll name the fighters that I think give him trouble.
Tom Aspinall.
Obviously, Tom Aspinall, John Jones, Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades. I think he dusts Derek Lewis. I think he beats Sergey Spivac. I think he beats the Russian.
That's a problem, bro.
Spivac's a problem. You think that Spivac beats him?
I think Spivac's dangerous, at least.
He's dangerous. I think
he dusts him like he's cleaning some fucking covers.
The jiu-jitsu too good, brother. You gotta beat this guy. Tai Tuivasa, he strangles. Any of these one-dimensional heavyweights are dead. I'd say Sergey Spivac, though, amongst the guys I didn't name, would be next in line as the trickiest fight. Sergey Spivac's like the 6th hardest matchup.
Yeah, Whale Rider's right. Jailton Almeida versus USADA. I think USADA might win that one.
No, he's natty, bro. I believe he's natural. I will stand by that. I think he is not on anything because if you really look at his physique, bro, it's not so much that he's huge. It's that he's got great insertion points, bro. He doesn't look roided out to me. He looks like he's got God tier genetics. Like that's just God created the perfect physique and just said, here you go, Jailton Almeida. God bless you. That's the fucking perfect frame. And he's huge.
I'm not religious, AJ. I cannot buy this bullshit.
All right, listen, science created the perfect fucking physique. The luck of the draw with all this shit fucking spun through the wheel. Boom. Natural selection. That's the guy.
Yes, that's the guy. Natural selection. Okay. All right. I feel like he might be taking some supplements, but fair enough. Yeah, he is. We can definitely agree on this. Jailton is a top 5 heavyweight. And he's going to be a real problem for anybody who's not in the top 5. But I do think a Sergey Spivac, I do think a, like I said, a Tom Aspinall, a Curtis Blades, I think there are some fights where you got to think that, because Jailton Almeida is not the biggest heavyweight ever. What is he weighing at?
I think he weighs in at 232 for the last one.
232. Yeah, that's not, I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Curtis Blades quite a bit. He began training at UFC Gym Lombard, where I used to work. Curtis Blades is huge. Okay. Curtis Blades is way bigger than Jailton Almeida. That factor has to come into play at some point. Jailton, very well rounded, the best jiu-jitsu in the heavyweight division right now. If Verdum's not in it, it's a problem. I am a big Jailton Almeida fan. You're mad.
Jailton Almeida is Brazil's hope for a heavyweight champion. He's the one. I'm excited for it, man. Is he going to win the rematch versus Alex? City Kickboxing coach got too much info now. I don't think so. They fought 3 times.
Take him down, Izzy. Just take him down. Guys, this is not the best fighter in the world. He can't wrestle or do jiu-jitsu. Take him down. Because if Izzy strikes with him, he's getting knocked out again.
Agreed. What's next for Jailton Almeida? Romanov. I'm going to say Volkov, man. Romanov lost to fucking Tibura. His hype's kind of dead. I think he's still a tricky fight. He's a big dude, but I would rather see Jailton Almeida get a fast track. I want to see him versus Volkov. I was thinking when I was doing the What's Next show, I was like, all right, do I go Tibura and Blagoy Ivanov winner? No. Why do I need to see? Jailton Almeida has star power, marketing. I'd rather see him fight Volkov and we find out what he really has. I don't need to see him fight these sloppy heavyweights. I want to see him fight one of the best in the world.
And Volkov coming fresh off of that knockout win over Rosenstruik
Right.
makes sense, AJ. I'd like to see that one too. AJ with the matchmaker hat on today. You got some good ones for us, bro.
Dude, I think my matchmaking skills are coming together, but goddamn, it's a hard job. When I do that show, people always shit on me because Guru started the series and then I fucking brought it on to myself. But I remember when Guru started the series, I said, why the fuck didn't I start that first? Man, I thought about that show for years as a kid. Oh, imagine that every fight next.
The first time I ever saw the Schmo, okay, he was at the UFC event doing his crazy character, and I was like, oh my God, I was talking about doing a crazy character and doing something just like that years ago, and here's this guy up here doing it and killing it. So yeah, 100%. We just got to pull the trigger first. It's not about who came up with the idea, right? It's who gets that patent.
Yeah, exactly. No patent on the every fight to make next. Call me AJ matchmaker extraordinaire. But I'll tell you something, it is not an easy job, bro. Like I see the intensity of that gig. Like as you're looking through unranked fighters, especially. If you're outside of the rankings, I just pull up the UFC roster and I'm trying to figure out this one maybe that guy. It's fucking hard, man.
And you got to think you're only dealing with one aspect of it. There are other aspects to it. There's the business aspect, right? Who's getting paid what? How much money can they spend on each card? How much are they pulling in? Where are they at? What's the timing? Is it the right timing for this person or that person? What trajectory are they on? Like there's all these things that to come into play beyond just the simple things that come to eye, right? So, you know, matchmaking is not the easiest job. I used to do it. I've been the matchmaker for Headhunter MMA, and I've helped with some matchmaking for Battle of the Borders. You know, couple shows where like amateurs I'd go find, and like right now I had one of my students asking me to get amateur fighters. You ever seen Felony Fights?
Yeah.
You have, where just like two crackheads are fighting each other in the street. They're doing something like that, and they like want me to find fighters. They're like giving like $1,000 to people to go fight in the streets. I don't really know if I want anything to do with that, but I thought it was interesting being a
bare knuckle too.
Bare knuckle, no rules, cell phone video. AJ DeVito versus random crackhead in
I'll pass on that.
And
listen, man, I'm only taking the fights that are bringing the big fucking bucks, man. I'm not fighting for no measly $1,000. Are you fucking shitting me? I got my whole life at it. I'll take it once it's 100K. Okay, let's fucking talk, bro. KSI, where you at? You know what I'm saying?
AJ's over here rolling in it. He said measly 4 digits. All right, okay. You know what I got paid as an amateur fighter? $300.
Zero, right?
Well, you get ticket money. So every time you sell a ticket, and then like I fought for Cutthroat MMA, and I fought for a couple of them that paid you under the table. A little something, you know, a little envelope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
how much? Like $50?
It was 3 digits, not 4. What?
Oh, shit. Like it wasn't $50. I was thinking it was like low.
Like $300 or something.
Okay.
It was nothing.
Dude,
crazy.
I would. This is my rules of taking a fight. Boxing, Marcus of Queensberry rules. And it needs to be for a solid payday. And I probably need my channel to be bigger before I'd be able to get one. But I'm sticking under my rule set. I want it my way. That's my personal opinion. And I need the money to be at least decent enough where I'm fucking going out there to risk it all for people's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you fucking doing it as a career, you're grinding, you're dialing in, I'm doing this. So then I'd be fucking bouncing the two. It would be fucking crazy, man. That would be intense work. I would honestly have to fucking dial in like Mike Finch style, bro. Just full time. That's it. But yeah, we're not at that point, man. I only got 12. I'm not only, but we're only at 12,000. You know, maybe at 100K, the fucking Misfits Boxing will call and they'll offer me a chance.
Help my man AJ out. Hit that subscribe button. Keep tuning in. My man AJ's hustling. We'll be here every week with Moneyline. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Always. And it helps us keep going. We want to bring a lot of stuff to you guys. I want to do more content. AJ wants to do more content. Let's make this fire a fucking blaze, bro. Let's set this whole thing on fire.
Let's go. Sometimes I think about starting vlogs, bro. AJ vlogs, man. Fucking. But the thing is, like, I'm like, well, people want to see me going to the gym lifting and shit. I don't know.
I need some lifting help, bro. You could just send me videos and post them on Instagram, man. You know, you see me, I'm doing like, here's some ab workouts. I'm literally just doing ab workouts. Like, fuck it, I'll put my phone here and maybe somebody else can do it from home, you know? So yes, we need more content for the people.
Mike, let's keep going to this one. This is a good question. Mike, I guess it's more of a statement. Mike, I can change it to you if you chug a tub of yogurt on
Tub of yogurt? Why the fuck? First off, when you have yogurt, it helps with the bacteria in your gut, right?
Yeah.
So if you chug a tub of yogurt, you are a moron. You don't want to fucking overdo your gut. Like, if you're gonna have a cup of yogurt, you need like 1 or 2 cups in a day. You don't want to overdo yogurt, just like you don't want to overdo a multivitamin. You go to the fucking hospital. So this guy's trying to kill me, bro. A tub of yogurt. Fuck you,
He
John
wants you to look like the picture of Guru.
You want me to look like a tub of yogurt, like that kind of AJ just roasted Guru right there. Did you guys see that shit?
I didn't say nothing, man. I didn't say nothing.
Roasted.
Nah, Guru donated to me fucking last week, bro. He donated. Yeah, he threw $20. Yeah.
Respect. He's making so much. He's like, here, you fuck.
He's like, here, let me give you a measly 20. Nah, I appreciate it. What does Finch think of Jake Paul in the PFL?
I think Jake Paul's a terrible MMA fighter. If you guys go back and watch AJ Azagram, a little 145-pounder in jiu-jitsu, whooping his ass, just absolutely whooping his ass on the mat. Razor Rob McCullough was refereeing. We've had Razor Rob on the show here before. And did I bring that up to him? I think I did. Look, he is not ready for the ground game. Anybody who gets him on the ground in MMA is going to do well. He's a big, strong kid. He's a hard puncher, but he only has one aspect right now. I saw that jiu-jitsu video. AJ sent it to me, him practicing jiu-jitsu. I'll tap him out in 30 seconds, dude. You know, Nate Diaz will tap him out in 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I think his neck's vulnerable. I do think that there's a long way to go to learn jiu-jitsu. It's one thing to have a wrestling background. It's a whole other thing to put it all together for mixed martial arts. You know, a lot of you guys favor the wrestlers in matchups because they can decide where the fight takes place. But these wrestlers that you're seeing at a high level have also been training submission grappling for years. When you're new to it like that, trust me, he's vulnerable. He's going to need matchups that make sense for him. And that's probably why he's talking about Anthony Pettis or whatever. It's like picking on these 155-pounders. Jake Paul's a fucking light heavyweight. He should be fighting another light heavyweight. Stop talking about featherweights and lightweights. What are we talking about here? He should be fighting at least, give me what? Is Dylan Dennis 170? At least give me that, right? Here was one I liked. Gordon Ryan keeps talking about MMA. He's never had an MMA fight. Jake Paul's never had an MMA fight. Why not do Gordon Ryan versus Jake Paul in MMA? Now, I would tune in to see that shit.
I'll tell you why. because you got the best of one sport versus a novice in boxing. Like, nah, don't kill this man. Nah, I want
to see him lose. Is that so bad?
Mike Finch wants to see him taken out. I want him to win. Now, this is a good question. Mike Finch, who do you think got a better physique, Prime Romero or Prime Jason Genova? Bro, I think Prime Genova takes him out. Do you know Jason Genova, Mike?
Don't. Jason Genova.
Let me pull him up. Hold on. Don't pull him up. Let me pull him up.
Don't?
No, I'll pull him up. I'll bring him up on screen, man.
All right, I won't.
He's like a old era bodybuilder, man. Prime, one of the GOATs, in my opinion. He's a legend. Let me pull him up. Here we go. This is a good picture of him. I'll pull him up for you. He's competed in a lot of competitions, bro. So we're going to pull up the Prime fucking Genova physique. Let me get him on screen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bro, he's a legend. Are you kidding me? You never heard of him? He's one of the best bodybuilders of like the past era, man. There he is. There he is. The greatest bodybuilder of all time. This is him. No, he's actually like an internet meme, bro.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
He's a meme, bro. He's a meme.
What am I looking at right now?
He had a big YouTube channel in like, you know, the 2010s, early 2020s even. And bro, like funny as fuck content. He's like slightly autistic. But it's A1 content. It was so funny. It was Delray Misfits and him. But unfortunately, bro, he doesn't post anymore. His fucking, I guess, grandmother owned his condo and his uncle's business got trolled by his subscribers. And then like they forced him off YouTube. He did an interview recently with John Bravo and supposedly got in trouble for that. But he's not allowed by his family to be on social media, period. I fucking trolled him back in the day because I trolled him and had him believing he was doing a Star Wars movie role. And he recited lines that I gave him on video. There's an interview. He brought it up like, bro, I was the king of the trolls, man. I'm the king of the trolls for him. That was fucking fun.
Jay DeVito, king of the trolls. I'll add that to your list of nicknames.
Yeah.
We'll put it up there. King of the trolls.
Listen,
and
it's sick. It's piss, bro. It's sick. It's piss. If you don't know, then you don't know. But it's sickening, pissening. It was like his line back in the day, man. It was fucking great, man. It was great.
You're going over my head with all of it, bro.
It's all right.
Igor Ramos, what do you think of PowerSlap League, dude? Honestly,
where is that? I can't find it.
Not a fan. I like mixed martial arts. I like bare knuckle fighting. I like jujitsu, wrestling. I like combat sports, you know? So when I see like you stand there, I slap you, you slap me. Yeah, bro. I don't even, Dana's like, it does such good numbers on social media, bro. I scroll right past it. The people fighting in the cars are more fun to watch. I want to watch somebody get choked by a seatbelt. That shit's more entertaining to me.
I just wouldn't want to get fucking smacked like that. It seems like fucking hell.
I know you saw the swelling on the one.
Yes, dude.
My
That
buddy.
you don't see that. Like that in fighting, that doesn't happen. That's crazy, bro. It's a dangerous sport because it's like Dana White sold this. Oh, fighters take hundreds of punches. True. But they're also fucking slipping shots. They're rolling with punches. This is blunt force trauma, near knockout punches every single time. You're not going through a slap without getting rocked.
Right. 100%, dude. Yeah. The power slap is really just a punch open-handed. Like when the people who are good at slapping use their palm to hit you, the amount of kinetic energy being developed is pretty significant, man. So yeah, not a fan, I must say.
I respect that, Mike. I haven't watched it yet. The highlights are entertaining, but I would not want to do it.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Will Aspinall eventually get a title shot? Is he good as I think he is, champion caliber? I'm going to say I think he is. I think that injury against Blades was unfortunate. I feel like he could have beaten a guy as good as Curtis Blades. We might be sleeping on him now because of that loss, but he could very well be the best heavyweight on the planet. He's definitely more well-rounded than any heavyweight I've seen. I mean, obviously there's guys that are very well-rounded, but Ciryl Gane has great striking, but doesn't have the grappling skill set of Tom Aspinall. Curtis Blades has tremendous wrestling, but not near the jiu-jitsu. Curtis Blades, if you look at their fights versus Volkov, is telling for me. Tom Aspinall took him down and tapped him easily. Curtis Blades went 5 rounds with him. So I'm like, okay, now that fight, it went weird. There was an injury. I picked Tom Aspinall. I'd pick Tom Aspinall again. I think Tom Aspinall's a problem. How's he going to look against the Ciryl Gane's rematch with Curtis Blades? Maybe. I think he could beat a lot of these guys. I don't know. I'm going to say championship caliber, but I don't know if he becomes the champ.
I don't think Tom Aspinall ever becomes a champion. And the reason why is because of what's in between his ears. He has talked very openly, just like Donald Cerrone has, about his anxieties. Like he says when it comes to fight day, he's like, why do I do this, this and that? And I can relate to that too, man. That's the same thing I was thinking. Like, why do I do this to myself? And those people who are phenomenal at that, let's talk about the other side, like maybe a McGregor. I think of my friend Stone Dax, who some of these people have almost a delusional sense of where they're at. They really just think they could pull things off. They're the type of person who really thinks they're always going to step up to the challenge. You could call it overconfidence. You could call it delusional. But I mean, at the end of the day, those are the people who pull the trigger. The reason why Conor McGregor knocked Jose Aldo out in 14 seconds is because he's so damn confident he believed he could pull the trigger like that. Tom Aspinall is somebody who's so smart that he knows what he's risking. And he talks about how nervous he gets before fights. I'm sure he's extremely nervous going out there against Curtis Blades. Whether that contributed to the injury, I have no idea. But, fighting is extremely mental. And until he truly shows me that he's overcome those mental hurdles, and until he shows me that he can be an underdog and pull it through, I can't rely on him to do it, man. So do I think he has a championship skill set? Do I think he has a championship intelligence? Absolutely. Does he have a championship mindset? Based on what he's told me, no.
I think if you have those anxieties, you should never mention them publicly, because I think then you turn them more real than they are. You start overthinking that interview. You start thinking about it more. People bring it
Your
up
identity.
to you. You live that shit. Whereas if you never say, yeah, you're fucking scared as fuck, but I don't feel nervous. I don't feel anything. I think that guy's better off. Like the fake it till you make it thing. I feel like it plays like a big factor. If you're going in, I would rather have a guy who's delusionally confident than intellectually pessimistic about his skills. That's just my thoughts. And I think you probably agree, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And Obama Phone has a really good comment.
How far down is he, bro? I got so many comments over here that I'm trying to get to, bro. I'm trying to get to all the questions.
Go ahead. He's the third one.
GSP used to get nervous before all the fights.
Yeah, it's a good point. George St. Pierre is very, very open about that and how he used to get nervous before he fights. And what did he end up doing, Obama Phone? What did he end up doing? He decided to retire in his prime. He's one of those guys who left, So, there's a different mindset that comes with, certain athletes. And, George would be an example of somebody who was still able to compete at a very high level and able to win, which I take your point, but, take my point too. Like George is not a fighter in the sense, of where he's ready to go to war. He is an athlete. He is a martial artist, and he is somebody who sticks to a tight game plan really well and is able to win. But he does not like fighting. And when I look at Tom Aspinall, I see him having issues with, when I say like underdog, like I'm talking about when Tom Aspinall has a Francis Ngannou in front of him, when Tom Aspinall has a scary opponent in front of him who can hurt him, how is he going to react to that? With George, it was double leg takedowns. With George, it was double jabs. With George, it was, a phenomenal stance and great cardio and working to a decision. What is Tom going to do with these heavyweights? I think he gets punched and he probably second guesses himself. At least he's going to have to show me until I change my mind about that. I'll have to see him in those fights before I change my mind about that. And, it's definitely a factor, guys. It definitely changes the way they fight anyway.
Mike, what about this one? What is your opinion on all the Hasbulla hype? It's fun, dude. It's fun.
Why not? Shout out to Ray Flores, the best damn ring announcer in combat sports. I don't care if we're talking boxing. I don't care if we're talking Big Ten wrestling. I don't care if we're talking mixed martial arts. My man Ray Flores is the biggest Hasbulla fan on earth. Every time I log into Facebook, which is like once a week, I will always see a Hasbulla meme pop up from my man Ray Flores. And you know what? Let them have fun with it, guys.
I like it.
It's funny. Hasbulla is it brings a smile to my face. I like seeing him punch Shaq in the head and Daniel Cormier and beat the shit out of Volkanovski. Why not, man? It's fun content. Hasbulla's having a good time with it. Everybody else is too. Respect Hasbulla. Respect from Huntington Beach.
Finch, Jake might just accept an MMA fight against you.
I just need like 5 million more Instagram followers, so help me out at Mike Finch MMA, and we'll make it happen.
Listen, if that happens, Mike, I
need to hit the fucking weights hard.
I gotta come in as the manager or something like that.
I need to hit the weights hard. I need to get on this motherfucker's back. I'm gonna crawl him like a playground. We're
going old school, man. We're going Rocky style shit. We're going into the fucking mountains, bro. We're fucking training with logs and shit.
I need to put on size, my brother. I'm like 182 pounds right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably 220. I don't know. I don't actually know what he weighs.
I'd say 210, 220 maybe.
10, yeah. So he's gonna need it. Okay. No, he's a really, really powerful athlete. I mean, I don't overlook Jake at all, but I'm just saying he's a white belt in jiu-jitsu and I've been doing it for 20 years. That'll probably matter.
Wait, what'd you say again, Mike? Sorry, I didn't hear a part.
Jake Paul, am I frozen right now?
No, I hear you now. You're good.
I'm good now. Okay, my screen's frozen. Jake Paul is a white belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 20 years. That's probably going to matter.
That probably matters, I'd say. I'd say so, bro. We're going to answer a few more questions before we talk one last topic here. As the best fighter in Bellator history, who would Patricio beat in the top 15 at featherweight? I think he beat a lot of guys. I think he'd lose to Volk. I don't know. I would pick Max Holloway over him. I think he could compete with like a Josh Emmett for sure. Maybe even beat a Josh Emmett. I think he could beat a Brian Ortega, man. I think he could beat a fuckload of guys aside from like the absolute creme de la creme, in my opinion. I feel like Ilia Topuria, that's a kind of crazy fight.
For Patricio Pitbull?
Yeah, what do you think, Mike?
Holy shit, dude. Patricio Pitbull is a freaking problem. And I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. The way he stands, the way he's patient, he's a guy to bet on, man. And I went 5 for 5 with those picks for Bellator over in Japan. Not because I'm just rooting for the home team. I am, but because like your money really is, well bet when you're betting on somebody like a Patricio Pitbull. He's such a veteran. He's so hard to get to. He controls fights really well. He could beat anybody in the world, man. I think don't doubt him at all. Top 15, forget that. I mean the 5 at the bottom there, he's storming through them. He's a top 3 or 4. Mixed martial arts fighter right now. He is phenomenal. Patricio Pitbull is one of the best fighters ever. His guillotine's one of the best in MMA history. Extremely physically strong, and that experience, man. He puts the karate in with the Muay Thai, with the boxing. Like he used to be more of a berserker, and then he got that karate stance.
Works well.
It's gonna be hard to beat Patricio Pitbull.
Agreed. He's a monster. He's not losing in Bellator unless
the Bellator GOAT. He's the Bellator GOAT.
He is.
Yeah.
And now we got to bring up this thing. This is a quick little subject. Ngannou's next move might be already on the horizon. Tyson Fury has offered him a potential cage fight, 4-ounce gloves, Marcus of Queensberry rules. Weird event. I don't know how the fuck they'll set this up. I don't know. I think Ngannou with 4-ounce gloves has a chance. 100%. He hits like a fucking truck.
Of course, he has a chance. You know, I said Conor McGregor had a chance against a 40-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
What about 4 ounces though? That's a big thing that I think kind of somewhat closes the gap, right?
Okay,
The 4 ounces.
Okay.
What do you think, Mike?
But Marcus of Queensberry rules. He gets 10 seconds to stand back up. Like, that's a big deal. The head movement of Tyson Fury is second to none in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit taller than Francis. Although when Francis got in that ring, now I think Tyson Fury's got his boxing shoes on, which have no heels, and you know, Francis probably had some dress shoes on. He was looking a little taller. They were like the same height though. So Francis takes his dress shoes off.
That's what's weird though. Fury's listed at 6'9".
6'9", and Francis 6'5".
6'4" he's listed at, bro.
6'4", yeah, but he looked like he was just about as tall.
Yeah.
You know, never trust the heights. Never trust. I remember seeing Randy Couture was 6'2", and then I met him in real life. I'm like, we're the same height? What the fuck?
What?
I remember I seen Arnold Schwarzenegger. I grappled in the Arnold Sports Festival. I won it. Didn't have any points scored against me. Won all my matches by submission. So I got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. And, you know, here I'm seeing online, 6'2", 6 feet tall. Dude was 5'9", 5'10" at best.
You think he's shrunk?
Yeah, he's old. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
you don't think he's over 5'11" even in his youth?
No way. Like, he was like
crazy.
5'9", bro. I'm taller than Arnold Schwarzenegger for sure.
That's insane.
Now I'm taller than 70-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger, though. I didn't get to meet 30-year-old Arnold.
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger.
but still, though, no, he definitely, even if he lost 2 inches, it sounds like
Take
he's
a vertebrae out of his spine, bro. I thought he
Yeah.
had heart surgery, not spine surgery. I don't
Yeah.
know. He was not that tall. So never believe the heights. Yeah, always believe them when they're eye to eye. You know, that's how you get a good look at it. And Francis Ngannou looked huge next to Tyson Fury. So yes, similar size, that matters. But I think what matters most is head movement. Tyson Fury has that. Francis doesn't. Right. So you got to think in fisticuffs. You got to go with the Gypsy King. Although I think the best fight, AJ, bare knuckle fighting championships, Tyson Fury versus you know, our man Francis Ngannou. Let's have them in there with no gloves on, because Tyson Fury, that's his lineage, right? That was his grandfather, I believe, started with being the heavyweight champ. His dad, you know, heavyweight fighter. It's like, if they do bare knuckle, that's literally Gypsy King lineage. That makes perfect sense. And then you and I might be able to get there live and actually do a betting show from it. That'd be insane. You know, if they had a big event and we do a little bit of work for bare knuckle fighting championships, if they decided to have us, that would be absolutely bananas. So that's the reality I'm hoping for. I know it's a long shot, but that's what I'm aiming for. Come on, BKFC, sign them.
BKFC right now has reached a point where I honestly feel like they are top tier MMA, or they got MMA, but top tier combat sport, right? They're competing with these MMA leagues, I think, for views, for quality of fighters. Bro, they just signed Greg Hardy, which whatever you think of Greg Hardy, he sells, and without gloves, you need to see that man. Come on. Mike Finch. Can you imagine seeing this dude without the gloves on? These fucking fists are like this.
We're gonna.
Holy shit. We're gonna see it.
Yeah, he's a slugger, man. No, there's fun fights to be made for sure. You know, when me and AJ get to break down these bare knuckle cards too, there's some good bets. For those of you guys who like to bet on fights, AJ and I are hosting the show Bare Knuckle Bets. And dude, there's some great bets to be made in bare knuckle fighting. So yeah, a lot to look forward to in 2023. Absolutely. The debut of Greg Hardy's one of them. Diego Sanchez deciding to go over. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you know, Diego Sanchez at the end of his career, a little more controversial, going over to bare knuckle. You know, all the best to Diego, of course.
Love him.
Yeah, you got to love the nightmare Diego Sanchez. You know,
it's gonna be hard. I don't know. It's hard for me to see him matched up versus a guy who's still competing with top level boxers, whereas Diego is not at the same point, man. And then you take the gloves off. I don't care unless Diego Sanchez is able to fucking clinch and really rip some dynamite punches in close. I think Austin Trout's boxing is going to be so smooth for him. That's like an early prediction, man. That's an early prediction for the bare knuckle bets, bro.
Like Marcus Brimage is a BKFC fighter now. Marcus Brimage is
he changed his name, man. Brimage.
All right. He's still Brimage to me. I can't. Brimage. Is it French? What is that?
Oui, bro. He's a
Brimage.
little French.
Marcus Brimage versus a Diego Nightmare Sanchez. That fight makes more sense. Like, there are some fights for Diego and BKFC that would make more sense to me. Maybe we'll see those in the future.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. Guys, I know you want to hear about UFC Vegas 68.
Let's do it. Let's break down the main event for him.
Let's talk early leans for UFC Vegas 68. Mike Finch, let's get into it. Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivac. They're throwing down again, bro. Is Spivac with a K or a C? Because I have no fucking idea, bro.
A C, right?
I'm seeing C, and then I'm seeing K. On the UFC poster has a K. Tapology has a K.
No.
The UFC poster has a C. Tapology has a K.
Ah, interesting. I thought it was C. All right.
That's fucking annoying. Hold on.
Who gives a fuck?
I give a fuck mainly for the algorithm. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you.
UFC.
Yeah, Sergey Spivac. I'm seeing it with the K right now. No, I thought it was a C.
Nah, it's with a C in UFC.com.
All right. We'll go with the UFC. I'm trusting the UFC knows their own fighter. Look, Sergey Spivac's a problem, man. 6'3". He's definitely going to be an issue. The way he took down Greg Hardy and got to ground and pound, that would be a really smart approach against the Derek Lewis. You guys saw how great wrestlers have dealt with Derek Lewis. Daniel Cormier, for instance, just getting to that single leg, getting the big man hopping around, tripping him, getting on top of him, putting him away. I could see Sergey Spivac trying to employ a similar pathway. Obviously, not the wrestling of DC, but I don't know where Black Beast is in his career right now, and Sergey Spivac's kind of on the up and up, so you could see Sergey Spivac trying to take him down. Now, in that process, you got to risk getting clipped by Black Beast. Black Beast has that big uppercut, that big overhand right. You can't ever really write him off either. I mean, AJ, are we ready to start saying that Derek Lewis is in the twilight of his career, or do you think he makes a run again back into the top few of the division?
Twilight.
Yeah, you think it's over?
I think Spivac, bro. I'm not giving you guys the pick, but I would say I think Spivac has a legitimate chance to get Derek Lewis into bad positions on the floor, which could lead him to winning that fight. But
if he gets on top, it's problems. But you know what? Derek Lewis does an okay job sometimes of kind of hanging out on bottom. Derek Lewis has been in some hot water multiple times. My balls was hot. He's been able to deal with that hot water and come through it throughout the other side. I remember the Volkov knockout. I mean, you could go back to a couple of them where he looked cooked and he was able to pull it through. I wonder where he's mentally at.
We'll find out. Guys, it's coming soon. I got to answer a question. AJ, any good gambling sites? So I would say you're looking at BetOnline, Bovada, and MyBookie. And if you go to MyBookie, use promo code Moneyline. Give us some love. We're back. We're back real soon.
Let's go, MyBookie.
Let's go. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our off-week show. We got to a lot of questions. We had a great time. We've been here a lot longer than we thought. Me and Mike were like, yeah, we'll do a quick show. We're almost an hour and a half in.
Normal time.
Can Darren Caldwell be Bellator champ, Mike Finch?
Darren Caldwell?
Yeah, that's what a question we just got asked.
Yes, he has what it takes. It's just so stacked in that division. Like, it'll just take me a second. Sorry, I got to go on my phone now since my computer froze. It'll just take me a second. Those divisions are so deep, man.
Let me answer that question for Mike
please.
Finch. No.
Okay.
He already was the champ. He had the belt. I don't think he's getting it back. Bantamweight is fucking stacked. Featherweight is filled with killers.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I like Darren Caldwell, man, but I think there's too many monsters there. He's taking some losses, matchups that he won't be favored in. I don't like his chances. I'd say the chances are very low.
Bantamweight, Sergio Pettis, Rafael Stotts, Patchy Mix, Juan Archuleta, Magomed Magomedov, Danny Sabatello, Kyoji Horiguchi. Do I even need to go on? Featherweight, Patricio Pitbull, Adam Boric, AJ McKee, Pedro Cavallo, Aaron Pico, Jeremy Kennedy, Mads Burnell. I mean, these are, stacked. And I didn't even get to some of the better talents who are on their way up, too. Like in this Bellator lightweight tournament, Gadzi Rabadanov didn't even make it. Brent Primus didn't even make it. So in that 35, 45, 55 in Bellator, it's actually pretty stacked, man. Bellator's got the talent. Whether or not you guys will come and watch is the problem, right? We want you guys on the CBS card. I'm so looking forward to fight week. Next week, when we do Moneyline, I will be in Los Angeles, okay? Ooh. Which is not that far from my house. Maybe I'll just drag this thing off the wall and bring it with me. But, I'll be there with Fedor and with all the fighters. We'll make sure to get some good content out for you guys, whether it's on my page at Mike Finch MMA, on Instagram or Mike Finch Show on, I think it's actually /Mike Finch on YouTube, or whether it's just on Bellator's pages, keep up to date because we're going to do some cool behind the scenes stuff. I got to hang out with Fedor. Fedor's last fight, and he's in my hotel, AJ. You know, I got to chop it up with the man.
Yeah, that's going to be dope. Yeah, the last Emperor, his final dance. Mike, it's been a pleasure. I've talked to you fuckload today, actually, because we did bare knuckle right before this. Now we did our, I guess, what do we call the off week money line, bro? It's the funny
line off
bro,
week. You got it.
Money line off week, bro. That's it. Right. We're reacting. I like the off week when we had a card before. We got to react in depth to UFC 283, talk a lot, and answer a ton of questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I think Umar Nurmagomedov would have a good chance to beat Sean O'Malley to answer that question there. Guys, much love. I think Finch is in agreement, man.
I think so. Sean O'Malley's a much better striker. I like what Sean showed us against Petr Yan. It's a fight. Yeah, it's interesting. Brother, be good. We're signing off, people. Thank you for tuning in. Smash the likes. Let's run these likes like crazy up. Let's get a ton of likes for this off-week show. Just show that love, baby. Appreciate it, guys. And subscribe if you're new, man. Road to 20,000 subscribers. Let's get there this year. Peace, you guys.